there, I'm Don.
And hi, I'm Cindy. Welcome to Pearls of Liberty for February 22nd, 2014, and happy George Washington's birthday.
Happy birthday, George.
We're starting...
We're trying to get your country back into shape
We're
here.
trying, yeah. Everybody out there, give it the old college try for George. Yesterday, actually it was Thursday, Alex Jones had a Dr. Doug Rockey, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
On as a guest, and he was talking about DU and radiation and how the U.S. soldiers have been exposed to atrocious, dangerous toxins and rays. But he also was talking about things like cell phones and just generally how health is very negatively impacted by some of the frequencies and the toxins that have been released in our environment.
Yeah, and Doug Rockey has been through all this personally because the radiation and his exposure to it has affected his health dramatically and has had many operations to try to repair the damage. But so he knows how deadly this stuff is, and like Alex keeps pointing out, it's like they don't care anymore. It's like they're just... I really think it's that these guys are so desperate to hold on to power, and they know that the military is key to their power at this point. And when you can't con the people and all you've got left is force, then you can't compromise that force in any way. And they're thinking short term, they're not thinking long term. All they're doing right now is trying to hold on to power, so they are not going to tell troops anything that would cause their finances to be drained since the squeeze is on. This is really wild stuff that needs to be exposed. Really, really horrible things that are happening to troops that have put their lives on the line for what they believe is the cause of liberty.
And as Dr. Rockey said on the show yesterday, when troops begin to exhibit symptoms and are actually very ill, they go for care to the Veterans Administration, and they're given antidepressants. They're given psychotropic drugs. Instead of addressing their symptoms, they're just given drugs that make them forget how bad they feel. And as Don said, there's a broad denial that men are actually becoming sick as a result of what the government intentionally exposed them to. And Dr. Rockey mentioned this film, Beyond Treason. We have not seen this film, but actually I think I would like to see this film.
Yeah, what is going on is horrendous and needs to be exposed, and anybody doing this work needs to be trumpeted. This is very, very important stuff.
Unmasking secret military projects such as chemical and biological exposures, radioactive poisoning, mind control projects, experimental vaccines, Gulf War illness, and depleted uranium. So if you know anyone who has been in the military and is suffering from illnesses, you might want to point out some of this information to them, just so they know that it's not all in their head as they're being told by the Veterans Administration in many cases. And the Beyond Treason website has some good resources, and some are listed here. This is, of course, a link to a different website, gulfwarvets.com. But there are some actual government documents on this website. Here's one, for instance, documents on experiments conducted on prisoners at Holmesburg and elsewhere. This is real. This isn't something somebody made up. This isn't, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact.
Yep. Yeah, it might not be a pretty site, but these are important links.
And yeah, these websites are not beautifully designed, but there is significant information here. And certainly if you know a veteran who is struggling, they will probably be willing to wade through some of this to find the information that they need. And here is some really interesting information that is not new. Don found out about this because he is a bit of a gearhead, and he was watching an older episode of Top Gear on Netflix. This was an episode from 2004, and the guys in the show happened to mention this, so we looked it up, and sure enough, this article from the Telegraph in 2004, cars are more fuel efficient than trains, claims study. Oh, don't tell the Agenda 21 people.
Yeah, this all is such a scam. They get you thinking that you are saving fuel, saving energy, saving the planet by taking public transportation, and it's not even true. It's a fraud on the face of it, and that's even if the trains are packed. And I've been suspecting this for a long time, but this really is outright proof that that it's all about hurting the people. If you can get them to use a centralized system that can be controlled, you can herd the people. If you give them individual cars and roads all over the place, then they can go and do whatever they want. Then they have freedom. But the powers that be don't want that. And so they use the excuse of environmentalism, saving the planet, to say, oh, you know what the retort to this was? The retort is that the best journey is one that was never made. That clip from
Yes.
where they the response of Hammond, he goes, "Oh, come on, give me a break." But that's what they are really saying. So he's saying, "Yeah, look, I found the source of the Amazon under my dining room table." To try to look, all of the progress that has been accomplished throughout history has been done because of individual liberty. And this is just one aspect of that, the ability to travel freely. That is one of your God-given rights, that to go wherever you want to go unless you're interfering with somebody else's stuff. So this is exposed as a covert plot to end that. So pass this around. This is very important, and it's old, but it's never really been fully exposed.
Yeah, it's not extremely old. It's 10 years old, and if anything, cars have only become more fuel efficient since this time.
Oh, and I want to add that they also mention in the show, but I don't know if it's in this article because this is only pertaining to cars, but it also says in this study apparently also shows that the new fast bullet trains that go across the countryside at 200 plus miles per hour, etc., that those are less efficient than airplanes. So you think you're doing something environmentally friendly? No, you're not.
That's right. Resist Agenda 21 and don't ride trains.
Yeah,
Save the earth! Drive a car!
Yeah, you can really see how planes are the car equivalent of the sky. But a train is on a rail. It can only go on the rail. A plane can go anywhere in the sky. So the control aspects of this are obvious if you think about it.
Absolutely. And just the idea of the move toward Agenda 21 and toward the technology that keeps people on the grid and keeps people on the rails and keeps people under control. And as Don said, controlling where the cars on a train go is very easy. You only put the rails where you want people to go. And that is how they can use trains to enforce Agenda 21. If they take away cars, you can only go on trains. You won't be able to get to wilderness areas. And here's a related idea. The world's largest solar energy plant is also a massive death ray for birds. We, like trains, we've been sold the idea that, solar energy can save the earth. Well, it's a massive death ray for birds.
If you centralize anything and make it huge, way bigger scale than it needs to be in order to centralize the control, it always has, no matter what technology you're talking about, Eliminate the individual fine-tuning that goes with having something be decentralized. This is true for organic farming versus big agribusiness, pesticide, GMO farming, monoculture crops. Very, very bad for people, very, very bad for the environment. Invites pests and the ecosystems get out of control. Natural systems are inherently varied for stability. That's the way the Creator designed them. And when you start to try to centralize stuff like this big solar plant, you think you're saving the Earth? No, you're just creating a bunch of unnatural effects that are going to disrupt the ecosystem. Death ray for birds is one small example.
And this, look at this atrocity. I mean, here's this beautiful natural setting, and you've got, these solar panels and just this big tangled mess. Whereas if things are not centralized, you have a solar panel or a couple solar panels on your roof, you're off the grid. You've got, a windmill mounted somewhere in your house. It's a small scale thing that's not going to kill any big, beautiful raptor birds of prey. If it's small and individualized, it does no harm. And it's a benefit. When it's big and centralized like this, it does harm.
Not to mention the power loss in transmission, which is not insignificant. That there is always a cost with the line loss cost whenever electricity is transported. Any form of energy is going to have if you don't generate it near the point of use, then you're going to have a decrease in the efficiency of the energy whenever you have to move it from point A to point B. So that's huge as well. And yeah, the wind power can be near the point of use. Probably not on the building. Done some research on that. It's probably best to have them just off of the building, a small short distance away from the dwelling or point of usage. But all of this stuff, it applies across the board to decentralize, and don't let the control freaks build these pyramid structures that they control and cause damage in the process.
Absolutely. So we do thank you for tuning in for this week's Pearls of Liberty, and in honor of George Washington's birthday, would like to remind you to resist centralization, resist collectivism.
And see the world the way that it really is. See yourself in it. Walk your walk. You are the one you've been waiting for.